I am Saranya, the Surgeon at Arms. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment in which every member gets an opportunity to improve their communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self confidence and personal growth. In every Toastmasters meeting, we follow three ground rules. So, here, please maintain silence when the speaker is speaking. Please switch off your mobile phones or put it in silent mode. And please mute when you're not speaking. Then the rule 2 is please avoid taboo topics such as sex, religion, and politics. Rule 3 is every Toastmasters meeting, each and every member is supposed to be in a formal attire. So please do be in a formal attire. I think most of us are in the second and third work from home week after this corona. So in spite of all the problems and schedules, most of us has joined today's meeting. So I welcome you all once again. With this, I would like to call upon Suganti ma'am. So a small introduction about Suganti. Suganti is working in TCS as a business domain consultant, and she is in Toastmasters since 2011. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Suganti Pereza.
Thank you, Madam Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Sharanya. Let us welcome ourselves to meeting number 554 of Medley Toastmasters Club. Let's start the meeting with a big round of applause to all of us. A big round of applause because we are all staying positive in spite of all that is going around us. And this also happens to be our third successful online meetings where we've had speakers and role players come and do their best with a lot of enthusiasm. So I declared meeting number 554 open with the sound, I don't have a gavel, with the sound of this applause. This meeting, I think we have a number of guests from other clubs whom we have with us today. Let's warmly welcome the Program Quality Director of District 82 from Sri Lanka, DTM Nurul Munawara, the past District Finance Manager, Toastmaster Ramanujam, past Area Director, Dr. Krishna Kumar, current Area Director, Toastmaster Sasi Warrior, and we have Raman from Lilo Toastmasters Club. So I welcome all our guests and I also warmly welcome all our members to meeting number 554. With that said, today we are going to have a very special person taking us through the meeting because he is not only a member of Medley Toastmasters, but he also happens to be our area director, and he is running this meeting from United Kingdom, the hot spot of Corona, if we can say so. This gentleman is somebody whom I personally admire because he has the large heart of anything. He is so much generous in helping others, and he is also somebody who's blessed with a lot of grit and determination. I had the privilege of collaborating with him as the program head for Ovation 2019. So if we saw a seamless ovation across 4 days, it is all because of this gentleman's hard work in fine-tuning the program agenda and ensuring that each and every small details were captured. With that said, let me now hand over control to our Toastmaster of the day, Area Director, Toastmaster Krishna Kishore.
Thank you very much, Suganti. Thank you for a very warm and kind welcome. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, all. I'm Krishna Kishore, acting as a Toastmaster for today. Just to set the tone of our theme for today, let me get you into the context. As we are all enjoying our free time with coronavirus being back at home, one day there was a fine conversation between a son who is 6-year-old and his father. He asked his father to tell a story. That struck to a bedtime conversation between a 6-year-old and his father. Father started a story by saying, Ashwatthama hataha iti narova kunjarova. The son was flabbergasted. He couldn't understand what this means. It means Ashwatthama is dead. I don't know if it is human or an elephant. As he couldn't understand it, he asked, just like our VPE, explain it in more detail so that I'll be able to approve your theme. So the father, because the son will not be able to understand so big Mahabharata from where this line came in, he, with his picturesque words, he took him to the forest. As they were going into the forest, they saw a lion, the king of the jungle, ducking just behind a bush. Far away, there was an elephant, just like you see in the background of Guru Prasad sir now. So as the son saw this elephant and lion, father asked to sit back and get the comfortability of the forest. As they both were getting comfortable, the lion takes a big leap and jumps in front of the elephant. As soon as the elephant sees the lion, it just forgets its power, immaculate power it has got inbuilt, and just rumbles and roars just like a kid. And when the lion sees this movement, it captures the elephant. And I leave that to your imaginary expectations on what could have happened in the next 10-15 minutes. With that said, we all have different perspectives to look at this particular story. So let us see the story from the father's perspective today in our meeting today. So to set that, our theme for today is going to be, it's all in your perspective, how you see things. For the benefit of our guests, to introduce the Toastmasters meeting today, we have 3 sections. Number 1, prepared speeches. Number 2, table topics. And number 3, the evaluation overall. So we have 3 different role players who are going to play these roles, and I will be introducing them at the right times in the meeting. Before we get into this meeting today, let me introduce our general evaluator for today, who is Sharavanan. Sharavanan is a native from Coimbatore and has settled in Chennai, and he works for one of the most reputed firms in IT. And his favorite pastime is watching cricket. Now, may I request Sharavanan to help us take through the general evaluators' roles and responsibilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. There is a famous quote that says, to assess the quality of thoughts of people, you don't listen to the words, but watch their actions. But in Toastmaster, we do both. That is, listening to the words as well as watching their actions and provide constructive feedback. The main purpose of evaluation is to build the speaker's confidence and abilities so that the next time they can confidently come to the stage and speak in front of the audience. That is the main purpose of evaluation, by providing constructive feedback. My role today is to evaluate the meeting in general. I have 3 sections. One is the tag team who will be playing the tag, providing the tag report. Then I have a set of evaluators to evaluate the entire speeches. We have 4 prepared speeches today, and this set of evaluators will be evaluating all the 4 speeches and provide constructive feedback. The third section is the overall report by myself. So I will be evaluating the entire meetings, prior to the meeting what happened, during the meeting what happens, and post the meeting like what is going to happen. All these things I give it as a report so that it can be used for the improvement as well as for the encouragement of the role players. So the first set of team that is called as tag team. Why it is called as tag team is it has got 3 role players. One is the timer, the second one is the R counter, third one is the grammarian. I would request each one of those people, I'll introduce them, the role players, and then they will be describing what their role is for today. The first one is the timer role. The timer role is played by a person who researched about nylon on a polypropylene stick. I'm sure you all might be wondering what is that. That is nothing but this one. Can you see this? Are you able to see this?
Yes,
Yeah. What is that?
it's a toothbrush.
Yeah, that's correct. So the same person who had researched about that had told us. Okay. So this person has researched about the toothbrush and told what is the history of toothbrush and what is the evolution of toothbrush and how this physiology has changed to an electronic brush as such. So please put your hands to welcome Toastmaster Rangarajan. Toastmaster Rangarajan, can you please explain your role?
Definitely. Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Greetings and good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today there are three sections: the formal speeches, the table topic speeches, and evaluations. I will alert each speaker about the timings of their speeches. Today, all the speeches, the prepared speeches are for 7 minutes, and the table topic will be for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and so 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the evaluators will have a time of 2 to 3 minutes. For each one of the timings, for the prepared speeches, at 5 minutes, I will flash this green card, and also I'll indicate via buzzer once. At the end of 6 minutes, I will switch on the yellow card and press the buzzer twice. At the 7th minute, I will turn the color to red and I will press the buzzer 3 times. Now we'll move on to the table topics. Table topics last for 1 minute to 2 minutes, and at the end of 1 minute, I will press the buzzer once, 1.5 minutes twice, and 2 minutes, and the color coordination will continue the same: green, yellow, and red. For the evaluators, we have a time of 2 to 3 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, I'll press the buzzer once, 2 minutes 30 seconds twice, and at the end of 2 minutes, I'm sorry, I think I messed it up, but it has been in 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and 2 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong.
2.5, 3.
2.5 minutes. I said it right the first time. So at the end of the time, when the general evaluator calls me, I will present him with all the details. Thank you. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ranga. The second role is R counter. So this role is played by a person who is from a real estate firm based in Medavakkam. He is playing an ad hoc role today because the person who was assigned to play this R counter role has not joined. So he is playing that ad hoc role. Please put your hands to welcome Toastmaster Dinesh. Thank you, Toastmaster Dinesh, for accepting this at the last minute.
Thank you, GE. Very good afternoon, Toastmasters and dear guests. The purpose of R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler words, including and I will note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase, such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Over to you, GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dinesh. As you note down, this is a very, very key role because what I understand here is during this lockdown period, I came to know that many of the Toastmasters are counting the hours and arms when watching movies and serials, etc. now. So it is very important role, but it has a hangover also. So please don't do that. The next role is grammarian role, and this role is played by a person who is very enthusiastic and plays a very key role in the education subcommittee member as well. During one of the speeches, I still remember when he talked about leadership, he mentioned that Alexander warned that a team of sheep led by a lion is more dangerous than a pack of lions led by a sheep. Wonderful words. And it is one of the example of his many inspiring quotes in while doing his speech or evaluation as such. Please put your hands to welcome Toastmaster Narasimhan. Toastmaster Narasimhan, can you please brief your role?
Sure. Thanks a lot, gentle evaluator. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Narasimhan, and I'm going to play the role of a grammarian today. As a grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers and listen carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any misuse of the English language, as well as any good usages of words, phrase, or quotes. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day today. The word of the day today is viewpoint. Viewpoint means a particular way you see the world, or your distinct perspective or opinion on anything. Just to give you an example, since the Toastmaster of the day started with a quote from Mahabharata, I would like to use that example related to Mahabharata. So, Rendamulam is a Malayalam novel which tells us the story of Mahabharata from Bhima's viewpoint. Another example is from a doctor's viewpoint, it is important for people to stay at home to curtail the spread of coronavirus. I would urge the speakers to use the word of the day and the theme of the day. And whenever both of these are used, the audience can acknowledge by clapping in front of their webcams. I will give my report when called upon during the meeting, and I hand it back over to the gentle evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Narasimhan. So with that, I have introduced all my role players from a tag team perspective. The next set of role players will be evaluators, but I will be doing that at a later point of time. But for now, I would hand over the control to the Toastmaster of the day. Over to the TMOD.
Thank you very much, Sharavanan, for briefing all the roles and responsibilities of a general evaluation team. Thank you very much. Before we dive into our first segment of the meeting, let us understand the story from a lion's perspective, how the father sees it. We all see when lion decides that it is going to be my lunch for today, it just ignores the majestic personality of an elephant and it just aims for the right moment to capture the elephant. After the lion finishes the lunch, the whole forest will have a feast out of what is left over. In life, however big our goals are, you always will be taught to be like a lion in chasing them. Irrespective of the size of the goals, we have to be like lion with this perseverance and dedication to achieve it. However, in life, we always see there is something beyond achieving goals. What that is, we will see it in the second session of this meeting. Let us now start our first segment of today's meeting, which is prepared speeches. Our first speaker today is Ram Prasad, and he's attempting his Innovative Pathways Level 1 Evaluation and Feedback 1 project. So his evaluator is Jagannathan, and I will read out the purpose of the meeting so that we will not change the mics too often. So the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator and work on it for the second speech. With that said, Ram is an IT professional who is having a decade-long experience and is an ambivert, wherein he speaks very outwardly with the close friends of his. And he also has served as our president for Medley, and he has set so many good standards for our club. With that said, let us all welcome Ram to give his speech. Ram Prasad, Biryani for Thought, Ram Prasad. Over to you, Ram.
Thank you, Krishna. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. How many of you will agree with me? Biryani and Sunday is the best pair for a scrumptious weekend. Thank you. On a Sunday, myself and my wife decided to cook our favorite delicious paneer biryani. To prepare the paneer biryani, my wife asked me to buy the basmati rice, and also she gave me a long list of items, the monthly groceries to be purchased. I prefer the wholesale shop instead of the supermarket because they are economic as well as the quality of the items is also so good. It was high noon when I started from my home. As I expected, the shop was jam-packed. It took more than an hour to get the bill and get the items packed from the worker. It took more than 1.5 hours to reach me to my home. Married men can definitely sympathize with me. It is tough to handle an angry wife. If she is hungry and angry, you can definitely not handle her. The argument started. Have you ever done a single job perfectly? Can you, how, I'm not sure how you are handling your team in your office. My dear, please wait. So let me explain what is from my viewpoint. The shop is little far from our home. It takes at least 10 minutes to reach there. I know how fast you drive your vehicle. So you never crossed more than 40 kilometers speed. Listen, wait. So that is not the case. On a Sunday, and it is the first Sunday of the month, it is so much crowd in the shop. It took more than 20 minutes to get even the bill. Now I can understand what should have happened. So you are checking your WhatsApp messages and you forget to give the bill to the worker to pack it, right? I don't know how many WhatsApp group you will be part of. Even for office, you have 2 WhatsApp groups, and Toastmasters, you are part of members group, guest group number 1, guest group number 2, XCOM group. There are so many groups you are part of. Wait. This is unwanted, irrelevant statement to the current situation. So you should actually appreciate me for my intelligence. You know why? I gave the bill to the owner's son who was packing. He knows in and out of what is in the store, and he knows everything. If I have given the bill to the one of the workers, I will be still standing in the shop. The argument continued. It came to an end when I said the magical word. I am sorry, I won't repeat the mistake again. She again challenged me. She will join with me for the next month purchase. She can buy the items faster than this time. The days passed, and the next month, we both joined. We started around the same time like the previous month, and my wife accompanied with me. And as I was praying, the God answered. The shop was even more crowded than last time. My wife started standing in the queue, and she got the bill from the billing desk. It took exactly the same time. I was playing the timer role, standing outside the shop. I was so glad it took going in the same time like the previous month. Once she got the bill, she gave the bill to one of the worker to pack the items. To my surprise, the worker packed the items so fast, even the owner couldn't do. I don't have any idea. When we got the items, I asked my wife how this is possible. Even the owner's son couldn't pack the items. How the worker can pack the items so fast? She replied, please wait. This is the time to cook our biryani. Let's take it over lunch. We reached home, and then she prepared the delicious, our favorite paneer biryani, and over the biryani, we started discussing what has happened. She explained what she observed when she was standing in the queue. The owner's son getting distracted by so many factors. He is answering question to his father, who is in the billing desk. He is checking the prices and checking whether stock is available. On the other hand, the worker is focusing only on one bill. He's never got distracted. Also, the owner's son, since he is a familiar face, he's accepting the small bills. If it is one or two items, the people approaching him, he's switching from the long bill to the smaller bill, and then he comes back to the previous one. This is a biryani for thought moment for me. I realized if someone is switching the task and doing multitasking, the productivity goes so well, so less. So this is one of the productivity hack which I applied in my career in personal and professional life. Dear Toastmasters, try out this productivity hack. Never switch your task and never do multitasking. And thank me later. Over to you, Modi.
Thank you very much, Ram. Your biryani for thought was very good, and I got a productivity hack for today. Thank you very much for that. And our next speaker, second speaker for today is Lovely, and she's doing her dynamic leadership pathway, level 1, and evaluation and feedback 1 first speech. The objective of the speech is as similar to as a Ram's speech. The purpose is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback for the second speech. Today, Lovely's purpose is to present a speech, receive the feedback from her evaluator, and work on it for the second speech. So Lovely is going to be evaluated by John. And to introduce Lovely, she is pursuing her master's in economics from Madras School of Economics. And she's a cheerful person who loves to enjoy every aspect of life. Besides this, she is a foodie and a fashionista. So Lovely, life lessons, Lovely. Over to you, Lovely.
So, how many of us plan things ahead? Like, in fact, all of us plan things ahead in our heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. So, someone once said, if you want to make God laugh, you should tell him about your plans. So we like to think that we are in charge of everything in our life, like our intentions, goals, dreams, New Year resolutions. But it's not. But it's not the case. The matter of the fact is that as we have our plans in our life, so does life as for us. So, fellow Toastmaster, my dear friends and guests, a very good evening to one and all. So life doesn't go according to our plan as always. Sometimes heading in a new direction can be scary until we head towards a new and exciting destination. Something like one story I would like to share with you. Like I went to meet my sister in the winter break. So out of nowhere, one night she said that let's go to Taj Mahal. So, like I have been in Delhi for past 4 years, like from 2014 to 18, but I have been never been there. So, so like we decided overnight that we'll go to Taj Mahal next morning. So we booked our train ticket for the early morning because it was a same day trip. So we took the metro to catch the train. So, but due to low visibility, we realized that we won't be able to catch the train. So, and but suddenly my sister searched that there's a in between station from where train departs 15 minutes later than the previous station, the one we are going to. So, and the condition was we won't be able to catch the train if we'll go by the previous one. So, like we decided, like in within the single fraction of second, like we decided to go down the metro. So there are moments in life when some like in which moment we decide where we will go, but sometimes we don't know like what to do, but we decide within like in prompt like what to do, and that moment was that. So we suddenly get down of the metro and rush towards the other station, and we managed to catch the train and got to see the beauty of Taj Mahal, one of the seven wonders of the world. So I am a kind of person who used to plan things ahead since childhood, like I'll do this. But this trip has taught me the lesson that life always doesn't go according to a plan. Sometimes the path through which life takes us through may not be in our plan ever. Like this was never in my plan ever, but somehow we managed to get through the final destination. And one more example is we all are facing is the recent worldwide pandemic of coronavirus. It was also so unpredictable to all of us. So I just woke up in the morning and I got an email that we all have to vacate the hostel within 20 hours. So me and my friends have never imagined that like we will be in our hometown within next 24 hours. Or like we all were mostly from North India, and we suddenly had to book our tickets for the flight, and like within 20 hours we all vacated the hostel. So life is like I haven't visited my parents from past 7 months, but life gave me the opportunity to visit my parents in such an unplanned way I could have ever imagined. So also, but although the condition of is not good around us, but it's the viewpoint that matters. That how we take the things positively uh, in this situation. So to conclude, I'll like to say that like we are, although we live our life with our thoughts and how do we think about life, and still to a certain extent we create and manufacture our life also. But ultimately, it's the life has a divine plan for all of us. So from time to time, it asks us to change our plan, like by some reason or something. It makes the situation like that. We change our plans, and we don't got to know that how it happens. But somehow situation changes, and we have to like accept the uh, decision of life, so that we can live our life in a beautiful way. So it's like overall I can say that it's the viewpoint in the life always matters in every situation, like how we handle things and how positive we can be, and how prepared we are for every situation in our life. Thank you, and over to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Lovely. Within 7 minutes, you told the complete essence of life and how we have to take it. And thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Let's now move on to our third speaker, who is Prashant. Prashant is doing his innovative planning pathway, level 1 and project 2, which is evaluation and feedback again. This is a second speech from this project. Prashant is going to be evaluated by Guru Prasad, DTM Guru Prasad. And the purpose of his speech is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to his second speech. Today, he is doing his second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he has applied the feedback received from his first speech. So that is the objective which Prashant is going to play around with. So to introduce Prashant, he's working with Standard Chartered Bank and likes to spend his free time reading books and playing TT and badminton. He's working towards finding a true purpose of life, and he always likes to spend his time with a positive vibe. With that said, Prashant, schizophrenia, Prashant, over to you.
Thank you, Kishore.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good afternoon.
I came home for my vacation after my 10th standard. I expected my mother to be at home, but she wasn't there. I asked my father, "Where is mother?" He told me she was in a home called SCARF, Schizophrenia Research Foundation. My mother had a very tough childhood. She was the eldest of three daughters. She was very playful in her childhood. Her two younger sisters were just 2 to 3 years in age, younger to her. Her favorite game was Coco. At the age of 12, her mother passed away. Her life changed completely. She could never accept the fact that her mother left her at such a young age till the end of her life. From a playful childhood, the responsibility of looking after two younger sisters was thrust on her. She graduated in music from Miranda House in Delhi. She then took up the responsibility of preparing food for her two younger sisters till the time she got married. She was married in 1979 with the hope that the future would be brighter, leaving behind her past. 5 years later, she received a telegram saying that her younger sister had committed suicide. It was a rude shock for her. By then, she had two young children. They were the apple of her eyes. Her life became busy looking after them. And then one day, in an unfortunate incident, one of the children died in a fire accident. This left her totally devastated. But life had to continue. She had another child after a gap of 3 years. But her life never remained the same. She started getting hysterical. Whenever we went outside, she would start shouting for no reason. We felt embarrassed. We had to think twice before we stepped out. In the house, also, there would be sudden spells of hysterical behavior. We consulted few psychologists. They called this behavior as schizophrenia. They suggested that we give her few sedatives to keep her under control. Life had become chaotic for us. We felt embarrassed to face questions from people outside. Despite my mother being on sedatives, her hysterical behavior continued. She wanted to dispose of anything that she felt was not needed or was an extra item in the house. This habit became so regular that she had to be admitted to a home for schizophrenics called SCARF. She was there for a period of 1 month. After that, she returned home. The doctors and the people at SCARF told us that she was perfectly all right. She did not show any symptoms of hysterical behavior there. But life at home was the same. My mother continued to be on sedatives to keep her under control. This affected her normal routine. She could not look after her children up to their expectation. Whenever she asked us why she was given these medicines, we told her it was to control her blood pressure. We visited multiple doctors to find a solution. My mother was never interested in watching TV, but since She had a music background. She would often tell us that she wanted to come on TV and do a program. She also supported my father at times in rendering service for a non-profit organization. During the last 10 years of her life, my mother had multiple ailments, including diabetes and cancer. She passed away in 2013. When I look back, I ask myself, what is effective in controlling schizophrenia? Is it only medicine or more understanding and empathy? Medicine controls the body, medicine controls the mind, but understanding and empathy heals the heart. This is my viewpoint. I give back the stage to Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prashant, for that emotional journey and your lessons from looking after your mother. Thank you very much for that emotional speech. Let's move forward to our fourth speaker, who is Varshini, and she's doing her innovative planning pathway, level 2, and the project is Connect with Audience. Varshini is going to be evaluated by Vijay Rajan. And the purpose of this project is for the member to practice skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. To introduce Varshini, she is a cheerful, friendly, and straightforward engineering undergraduate student from VIT Chennai. And she is a trained classical dancer and have immersed herself into this art for the last 14 years. Her favorite pastime is exploring new softwares and listening to music. Varshini, the miracles of 3D printing, Varshini. Over to you, Varshini.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I hope I'm audible, and I'm sharing a screen of PowerPoint presentation, so please don't expect my video.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so here I start. A week after my engagement in 2016, one of my dad's students came home to congratulate me with a gift. I was so fascinated seeing it. Never have I got such a gift. Neither have I gifted anyone like that. How often would you come across your 3D image immortalized in glass? I googled up to find out how it was done. That's when I came across this term, 3D laser engraving. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, good afternoon. As the crystal rotated, I kept wondering how the crystal could have been carved. I never went to the shop to let the shopkeeper trace my face. How could my face be shaped in the crystal? Perplexed, I browsed to learn about its working mechanism. A set of laser beams is aimed at each point that makes up my contours and energized with a pulse. Each pulse creates a tiny hole in the crystal, and the laser energy leaves a mark of an image carved inside the crystal. So the image input is fed into the printer, and that's how the crystal gets carved. Later, when I heard about 3D printing technology, I found an instant connect. The input, namely computer-aided design or CAD model, is the same for laser etching or laser engraving and for 3D printing. But the only difference is that the input is entirely different. In laser engraving, laser creates mark on existing matter, say crystal for example, whereas in case of 3D printing, new things are getting created using a variety of materials. Though the terminologies sound complex, the working mechanism is simple. You have an idea, and this idea is fed as a digital input using a CAD model. The CAD information is then sent to a printer. The printer forms the items by depositing the materials in layers or slicing them in layers, starting from the bottom layer. In some cases, light or lasers are used to harden the material, and that's how the reality product is obtained. In 2017, one of my cousin sisters got married. Me, being her bridesmaid, got a chance to unwrap her wedding gift. One of the gifts I had unwrapped contained the box with the word Mini Me. Curious, I hurriedly opened up to see what was inside. Fascinated again, I googled up. Mini Me or 3D replica dolls are exact replica of humans or any other object. What you need to make these dolls is a digital design and a printer. These dolls can be made out of plastic or sandstone. Last year, one of my professors in college took us for an industrial visit to a plastic factory in Chennai. That visit, I learned a bit more about 3D printing. For example, I learned that most of the 3D printing materials used are complexes of plastics like polyacetite, flexible plastics, which you call PPE. In shorter terms, these plastics come under the category of specialized plastics. That's when I realized 3D printing is not just used in creative gifts, but it has other several applications. This is Lamborghini, one of the famous launch models. Lamborghini, while developing its new flagship model, Aventador, had made extensive use of 3D prototyping to build a functional prototype of the car. The future of 3D printing beyond 2020, an article by All 3DP magazine says, similar to the way the World Wide Web democratized news, education, and entertainment, 3D printing has the potential to democratize manufacturing of certain goods. In this fashionable world, designers are currently 3D printing fabrics directly on fabrics and manufacturing personalized soles in footwear. Also, this technology has proved beneficial to the medical world. Currently, bioprinting is used to manufacture relatively simple human tissues, but in near future, more complex structures will likely to be possible. This is one of the articles which came that they were trying to make a human-shaped heart, a 3D printed heart, with the help of bioprinting. Also, artificial arms for disabled, medical equipment, and even drugs are possible with this technology. This technology is advantageous because of its speed, cost of the design, and the quality. But the limitation of the material, like plastics and equipment, is a challenging business for entrepreneurs. I read a startling sentence by Danis Peled, one of Europe's famous fashion designers. Forget shopping. Soon, you'll be able to download your clothes. And here, that's the future of this globalized world. 3D printing in parts in the near future. Indeed, that's the miracle behind 3D printing. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Varshini. I never realized we are going to have our clothes printed. That's a good realization from your speech. Thank you very much for that. I hope you all liked all of our speakers. Shortly, towards the end of the meeting, we will be circulating the voters link. Request you to please mark your order for all the 4 speakers. Based on the time qualification, you will be able to vote at the end of the meeting when you get the voting link. Now let's move on to our theme and understand it from an elephant's perspective, how the father sees. Elephant by nature is a vegetarian, strong, resilient, caring, compassionate, and not only for her community, but for all the animals in the forest. The only problem with the elephant when it saw the lion was, it just accepted that it is going to be a lunch for just a cat. In life, there are so many things we might face. When we give up, we are going to lose it. So that is the one biggest moral from the perspective of an elephant. But father did not stop there. He took further and said, son, what do you think the value of the elephant today is? The son was flabbergasted again, and he said, it is 0. It has lost its life. The father picks the tusks of an elephant and says, elephant, be it alive or dead, its value never changes because its value is there in these tasks. So as a person, when you grow into a society, a team, or a community, you have to carry some values which are unshakable, whether you are alive or no more. So with this starking effect, Sun was just getting immersed into understanding this concept of seeing value in what we achieve, than just achieving it for a goal or another goal for us. Let me leave you all with this thought, and let's get into our next session of the meeting, which is table topics. To conduct this session, we have an interesting Toastmaster, a native of Pondicherry living in Chennai, working for Fidelity Investments as a programmer, and she loves coding. With that said, let us hand over the stage to Sharanya, who is going to help us as a table topics master for today. Sharanya, over to you.
Thank you, Mori Krishna Kishore. So we'll move with the table topic session. So I am Saranya. Table topic is mainly to improve your impromptu communication skills, where speaker can think on your feet and talk. There are like 4 lessons of communications will be included in this table topic. So 1 is listening skill, 2 is organizing skill, 3 is thinking, and 4 is speaking. So for this table topic session, the time limit will be minimum of 1 minute and not more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. A green card will be shown at 1 minute, yellow card will be shown at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card will be shown at 2 minutes. So please pin the timer, Rangarajan, so that you will be able to see the time. So I'll first read out the topic so that everybody can listen and start thinking of the topic, and then I'll call upon the names. So first to go with, the topic is, if you like to live as an animal, you would like to be, which animal you would like to be and why? If you like to live as an animal, which animal you would like to be and why? This topic goes to distinguished Toastmaster Sambat Sauriyarajan. Sambat sir, are you there? Okay. So we'll go on with the next. I'll give the same topic to Lunavara. If you like to live as an animal, you would like to, which animal you would like to be and why? Toastmaster Lunavara.
Yeah, I believe I'm in.
Okay. Can Toastmaster Tyagarajan take this?
My device is not in good mood. I am very sorry to say that. Yes, now what's the topic? I will try to do justification. Yes. Yes. My mood is normal, but my device mood is not normal. Yes, unfortunately. Yes. It performs certain tantrums. Yes. How am I to treat it? I am a dark. Yes. I am not that much techno-savvy. Please go ahead with the topic. I will try to do justification. Yes. Come in. I should like to see the face of the TT Master. Yes, yes.
Okay. So, if
Are you all able to hear what I say, or is there any problem with the audio,
Yes,
please?
we are able to hear, sir.
Ah, yes. With utmost perfection.
Yes.
Ah, yes. I am very glad about it. Please, what withholds the TT Master from delivering the topic for me? Yes. How I speak, please, it matters little, but still, I try to do justification. Yes. Can I have a look at the TT Master? Is she hiding her face? I don't think so. Yes.
so I'm able to get the topic.
Who is the TT Master?
Insurance.
Is Priyadarshini Krishna Kumar
It is
Saravanan?
No, it is Sharanya AS, sir. She is in the video already.
Sorry, sir. Yes.
Can I?
The topic.
Yeah.
I am unable to share anything because some problem with my video. I don't want to waste your time. If there is any bottleneck or any snag develops, you can move ahead. Yes, yes.
So can
Nothing, yes.
If you
I will take some other opportunity because I don't want to be a bottleneck. Yes.
Tyagarajan sir, Sharanya, let me. I'll take it over from you. Thank you. Tyagarajan sir, the topic for you is the table topic master had asked, which is your favorite animal and why?
Which is my favorite animal? Ah, it is a snake, you know that, my favorite animal. The snake, because why I say snake? Yes, especially the snake that are eaten in China. Chinese have a special taste for wildlife. Yes, that is brought in such a wild calamity across the globe. You know that? So the origin of it is snake. So I favor them because China is getting a bad name. Yes. You know, starting from Trump, everyone is unhappy with China, and there is a widespread rumor across throughout the world that China is in hand in glove with the WHO chief. And poor guy, he is being whipped by everyone. Yes. Because of the snake, you know. Because it is in China is eating anything what is used on earth. Anything. Yes. But we are non-vegetarians, we have, but still we don't do in that way. Snakes are their favorite dish. If you go to a Chinese restaurant, there will be many snakes in the. There will be a kind of aquarium, and you can see many snakes. And the customer can pick one. It is immediately to be dished and be served. So I love snakes. Yes, not venomous snakes, but innocent, harmless snakes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyagarajan sir. You really have a very interesting animal that you have fallen in love with. Now that we see DTM Sampath sir's video, we would like to invite you back to the table topics. The topic that Sharanya had for you might have been, what made you smile last week? What made you smile last week? DTM Sampath Saurirajan.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Lot of things make me smile because most of the time I keep smiling. Today also I smiled because I could not hear Sharanya's voice properly and tried to adjust my headphone, which made it worse. Even that made me smile. So last week, in several days, and each day several times. Smiling is a natural thing that comes from me. So there are so many things that might have made me smile. Let me think about it and give you something. One of the things is I tried a slightly modified, simplified system for table topic online contest, which is based only on WhatsApp. And when I discussed this with one of my clubs in Qatar, the Doha Advanced Toastmasters, they lapped it up. And last Thursday, we had the first one, which I conducted myself. And from that day, every day the winner becomes the contest chair. Next day, it keeps going on. Even today, it is there. So that has made me really happy and smile. And I even shared the method with our PQD Praveen. And I conducted the same method for a Tamil table topic contest with Tamil 2 days back, very successfully with 12 people participating. It's a very interesting system. Later on, I can give more details. That is one of the things that keeps me smiling through this week because it has caught up as a very exciting and interesting everyday pastime for many people in Qatar. Back to the table topic.
Thank you, DTM Sampath Saudi Rajan sir. We will now move on with our next table topic speaker, Toastmaster Sudha. Toastmaster Sudha, the topic for you will be, what is your favorite song and why? What is your favorite song and why?
Yeah, my favorite song is Ovvaru Pookalume. It gives me more enthusiastic about life. It explains every aspect of life, how one should be. So I like that song very much. Yeah, that's all.
Go ahead, you can share some more memories about that song, Sudha.
Yeah, whenever I'm feeling low, I hear that song, it immediately boosts me up. So I like that song very.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Sudha. We'll now move on with our next table topic speaker, Dr. Krishna Kumar from Nagarkoil. Sir, how have you changed in the last 5 years? How have you changed in the last 5 years? Toastmaster Dr. Krishna Kumar.
Good evening, Toastmasters of Medley. It's nice to speak to you on the phone rather than close by. You must have seen me 5 years back and you're seeing me today. You yourself should be able to tell me how I have changed. I have changed physically, I have changed mentally. Physically, you can tell me better than what I can see myself. I have grown gray. I have become older than what I was 5 years ago. Mentally, I have prepared. I have become more prepared to accept challenges. I have become more sober. I don't get angry with people. And I love making friends with everybody and anybody. I started looking at people standing in their own toes. And that probably, I would say, the best change that has occurred in me. And thank you, Toastmasters of Medley.
Thank you, sir. The next table topic speaker will be Toastmaster Ramanujam. And the topic for you will be, what is your biggest phobia? What is your biggest phobia, Toastmaster Ramanujam from Muscat?
And thank you, table topic master. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The biggest phobia is the fear of losing people. We have been living in a pandemic life now where we are just spending our time with family. If this pandemic has not happened, would you all ever thought about valuing the time that you had with your parents? Did you add valued your time with your siblings? Because we have been running morning to night for our corporates, for meeting their deadlines, and for getting revenue for them. But the satisfaction of meeting our people's requirement, that is our parents and siblings, is not attended to a perfection that what you do to your deadlines. So that phobia of losing people is what I encounter most. Maybe day and night after this pandemic has started, the fear has increased a lot with my parents at Chennai and myself at Muscat, that I hope and pray that nothing happens, because I'm in a situation where either I can travel nor my brother can travel. So therefore, the phobia is missing the parents, which I feel at the present moment. And I hope this has taught a great lesson to everybody in this world. Thank you. Over to our table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramanujam. Corona has taught us many lessons which we wouldn't have probably even thought of in our usual days. Moving on, the next table, before we move on to the next table topic speaker, I request all our members and guests to please pin the timer so that you can see the color cards as and when he shows the timer cards. Moving on, our next speaker will be Toastmaster Anirudh. Toastmaster Anirudh, who is your favorite character and why? Toastmaster Anirudh, who is your favorite character and why? Okay, Anirudh has mentioned that he will not be, he is not in a position to speak right now. So we'll move on with the next speaker. The next speaker would be Toastmaster Sasi Warrior. So, who is your favorite character and why?
Hello everyone. A very good evening to Medley Toastmasters. I'm Shashi Warrior from Trichy Toastmasters Club. My favorite character, I would say, is my wife. Would some of you agree?
Yes.
There. So why? Why my wife? She's been with me for 32 years now. And we have adapted so very well with each other that a character other than her, I wouldn't see any value. The value I see in her are many. Values, I see in her are many. And to describe that, I will need another maybe prepared speech session. So I love my wife. She is there with me from 1988. She was here beside me, right? She has duties and she has left. So characters, if I look at what quality characters need to have, is they have to identify with you. When they identify with you, you like that character. So it has become a habit for me to identify myself with her and her with me. So that is why I like her character more. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Suganti.
Thank you, Director Toastmaster Sasi Warrior. Our next speaker will be Toastmaster Zahir Hussain. And the topic you will be, who is the most impressive person from history, or the historic person who has impressed you the most? Toastmaster Zahir Hussain.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Today the topic is who is the most impressive person in the history, from history. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah. From the history part of view, if I take, the more historical person, if I like Alexander. Alexander the Great was a great warrior in all perspectives. In my point of view, he was one of the biggest warrior who conquered almost 80% of the world. He had a very good acumen of bravery, and he has a very good planning, and he had a very good vision. At the same time, he has a very good character, humanity towards his soldiers and his countrymen. And after he acquired or conquered all the things, he had one thing in his life. He realized the life that nothing is going, he's going to get carried away when he is going to die. So when he was about to die and he was getting to the burial ground, and he said, put my hands out of my coffin so that let the world see that I have not carried anything which I have conquered or acquired. In all perspectives, this character impresses me a lot. It shows the real-time life. As of now, in this crisis of Corona, we all feel that same thing. We are not going to get carried away with things except the humanity. And his coffin was followed by the learned people, which shows that even this is also behind him. That way, Alexander the Great was my great person who impressed me. This is my point of view.
Thank you, Toastmaster Zahid Hussain, for taking us back in history. Our next table topic speaker will be Toastmaster Chemal from Nagapatnam. And the question for you will be, who is your most favorite person on earth and why? Who's your most favorite person on earth and why?
Hello, I could not hear the audio.
Are you able to hear now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. The question for you, Toastmaster Chemal, is who is your most favorite person and why? Who is your most favorite person and why?
There are so many persons in my life, but to be precise, it is my most favorite person at present is my daughter, my elder daughter. She is my most favorite person on earth at present because she is very interesting and she is very compassionate with not only with human beings but also with animals. So only because of her, we were what we can say occasional non-vegetarian eaters, but because of her we have totally changed into vegetarian because of her love for animals. So we stopped eating non-vegetarian food because of her. Seeing her compassion towards not only fellow beings but also for all the animal beings, she has the compassion. That is why she is the most favorite person on earth. And not only that, I have, as a trainer, I have observed so many intellectual aspects from the childhood itself from her. And also, she makes me happy. She is always with me. She likes to be with me, and I always love my elder daughter Sarika, and she is the most favorite person on earth. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chemal. We will now move on with the next table topics speaker, Toastmaster Amita. Toastmaster Amita, who is your favorite teacher and why? Who is your favorite teacher and why? Okay, I think Toastmaster Amita is having some technical glitches. We'll move on to another member, Toastmaster Santosh. Toastmaster Santosh, the same topic for you. Who is your favorite teacher and why?
Hi, can you audible now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
2 months after that I will see you.
No, you have to come a little bit more closer. We are not. Your voice is not that very audible.
Okay. 2 months after that I am seeing you because of I am 2 months sick. My mentor, sir, Joe sir, and Guru Prasad sir, Narasimha sir, everyone. A long time back I saw you. Very good evening. And sorry, I forgot what the topic.
Who is your favorite teacher?
My favorite teachers, Max Pushparatnam sir, because why I am like the Max. Definitely, I don't know what is Max when I am still joined in when I was enter the 10th standard class, but I don't know Max how I have to say, first what the passing mark 35. 35. So that time he is give a lot of hard work put it me to more study. So that time he's giving a lot of homework, but I sometimes I not do properly. On the same time, he's encouraging me and giving a lot of homework and you have to take a maximum pass mark, then only you can get the good job, or you have to go the future, you can get the good future. Like that he's motivate. Then now after the 10th standard I realized I get the good mark, but yeah, just pass mark, I got the pass mark. I realized okay, he's only put in the effort me, and in my life wherever I'm going, I want to remember that that my teacher. That's why I really like my maths teacher. I had over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Santosh. It was lovely hearing and seeing you after a very long time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll now move on to invite one of our non-Toastmaster guest Karthik. Karthik, the question
Yes.
to you is, what is the most interesting thing that you are doing during the Corona lockdown? What is the most interesting thing that you are doing during the Corona lockdown?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. Yes, I'm a newbie here. Well, Corona lockdown, yes, given everyone a different perspective. For me, things haven't changed that much because I always work from home. So home is where my office is as well. So I don't do anything differently, but spending more time, well, of course, I spend more time at home these days, and you cannot go out even if you want to. That's different. And I do have a lot of pets at home. So that's one of the things which I'm practicing for the past 3 years. Once I started working from home because I needed some vent out apart from my professional life. I work with an IT company. So a lot of pets around. I have birds, I have shrimps, which is very new for me, and fish. And of course, my 2-year-old son is keeping me busy, keeping everyone busy in the household. So those are the things which I normally do. And this particular time, well, it gives me a sort of on a hindsight, it also gives me a lot of opportunity to think about. Many of you are talking about the coronavirus and the perspective the life has changed. Yes, the same thing for me as well. At the end of the day, it's about the life we lead and the life we go ahead, and materialistic things doesn't matter anymore. And it's always been the case. It's always been my mantra. And this particular phase of life has once again, sort of re-registered, saying that yes, you're correct. Whatever you're thinking, it's correct. So that's what it is. So the life has been the change from same for me. It hasn't changed much since I work from home, but my thought process are a bit different. So that's what it is. And thanks for the opportunity, panel. Back to you.
Thank you, guest Karthik. We'll now move on with our next table topic speaker, Toastmaster Rohit. Toastmaster Rohit, what is your favorite quote and why? What is your favorite quote and why? Rohit, are you able to speak?
Yes.
All right, Toastmaster Rohit seems to be having a technical glitch. We will now move on to hear from Toastmaster Virudhar from Tamil Nadu Solvendargal Mandram. Toastmaster Virudhar, what is your favorite quote and why? What is your
Yeah,
favorite quote and why?
okay. I just read a quote today morning. The purpose of the life is to be happy. The main thing of this quote is whatever the problems, as Sambat has said, you used to smile a lot. That thing, I'm just hesitant to smile. I won't even smile if there is a huge comedy. I'll just sit and stare at the face. But now, after reading that quote, I felt like I should enjoy each and every second of this meeting. That is to smile. Nowadays, I am smiling a lot without even knowledge. My mother is telling me, "What happened to you? Are you struck mad? You are always laughing, seeing your phone as if she is thinking that I'm in love with some other person, but I'm in love with the memes of the day, which is Corona's outspread of everything." I just used to laugh of it. So I'm just enjoying my each and every second of my life. Whatever I'm doing right now, now I'm speaking. I had a fear of speaking when I joined Toastmasters, but now that has become an habit to me. I usually just go and figure out the speech very often and just enjoying this moment also. So I request everybody to enjoy your moment and enjoy the life because life is very short. So enjoy it, Nanba. Back to the table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Virudhar. We'll move on to our next table topic speaker, Toastmaster Sriram from DXE Toastmasters Chennai. Toastmaster Sriram, the topic for you will be, if you were to live as one animal, which animal would it be? If you were to live as one animal, which animal would it be?
Thank you, Table Topic Master DTM Sukanti. So, if I want to live as one animal, which animal would it be? Probably, you know my thoughts. I think a human is the best animal in this world right now because we can't predict what the behavior, the mental state, the human, each and every human being are. So, probably human being, the wildest animal, which I would say, and I would stay like to be myself. And yeah, I would agree that I get a little bit more ratty as well in terms of more than an animal. So that should be my thought. And if I want to be more specific, the one animal which I really like is a rabbit because of its fluffy skin and soft touch. And one of the interesting quality which the rabbit has, which many would know, is that it has the sense of smell and taste a lot. And it always generates positive vibrations in whenever it is there, it always generates a positive vibration, and that's why it's most soft in touch, and also people like to touch it because it generates a positive vibration. And when we touch our hands on the rib side, it generates the positive vibration and we feel that. That's why we like to play with the rabbit. And of course there are more wilder animal in the form of human who go and then probably eat that animal. Probably that's advice which I would say, that don't touch the rabbit, let the rabbit live on because it's the most softest animal. And yeah, that's it. Those are the two things probably I would wish to stay myself as a wild animal and then a soft animal like a rabbit. So kadavul padi, mirgam padi, nanum padi, rabbit padi. That's what. Go to the table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Sriram. The next speaker will be Toastmaster Raman from Laila Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Raman, the topic for you is, if you were to go out now in Chennai and you have all the freedom, which is that one place that you would want to visit in Chennai? If you were to go out now in Chennai without any restrictions, which place would that be in Chennai?
Thank you, Table Topic Master Suganti Ma'am. So this is a situation where invisible organism is creating a pandemic across the globe. And I'd like to mention it over here that I'm not in Chennai now. I'm in Vellore. But still, if I get an opportunity, being in Chennai to go out somewhere, I'd take a beautiful ride towards ECR. Though the 40-kilometer ride, that gives a good relaxation to our mind. And me being a student with pressures from academics, from friends, and curfews in hostel, when I take a good ride to ECR without any restrictions, that too in my favorite bike, Royal Enfield, I think that would pull all my stress and depression down. And as most people know, a ride towards ECR is one of the best things a person can do. The view along the beach side, and since it is summer, and if the pandemic is not there, people used to sell manga birthdays. That is one good snack to pick up during the ride towards ECR. So if I wish, I go take a ride to ECR if I'm in Chennai, point number one. And point number two, if there's no restrictions. Over to table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raman. The next table topic goes to Toastmaster Rajaratnam from Nagapatnam Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Rajaratnam, who is or was your favorite boss? Who is or was your favorite boss, and why?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Unfortunately, I didn't get any chance to work under any boss. Yet, when I was doing my internship in my medical college, I had a principal. Probably she must have acted like a boss. It was really interesting to be work under her as an internee. Though she is very strict in her activities and rules, she had some kind of humor in her speech. Whenever she speaks, we could get some humor from her speech. Even she gives us a chance to mock her for fun because of her humor speech. That was my experience to work under internee under my dean of my college. Though I didn't get any chance to work under a boss. Thank you. Over to topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajaratnam. I'll quickly read out the names of the table topic speakers, and in case if your name is missing, please ping me in the chat. The table topic speakers for today were Toastmaster Tyagarajan, DTM Sampath Saurirajan, Toastmaster Sudha, Toastmaster Dr. Krishna Kumar, Toastmaster Ramanujam, Toastmaster Sasi Warrior, Toastmaster Zahir Hussain, Toastmaster Chemal, Toastmaster Santosh, guest Karthik Gunasekaran, Toastmaster Virudhar, DTM Sriram, Toastmaster Ramun, and Toastmaster Rajaratnam. The timer will read out the qualified names of the table topic speakers later. Thank you everybody for enthusiastically participating in our table topics today. All the topics were prepared by our table topic master, Toastmaster Charanya. She had sent out the topics to us, and I just facilitated it for her because she had a network issue. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Charanya, for thoughtfully coming up with all these table topics, and for all our speakers for enthusiastically participating. Over to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Kishore.
Thank you very much, Sugandhi. Let's give a big round of applause to all the speakers and the team, Sugandhi and Sharanya, because you took the right decision at the right time, Sugandhi and Sharanya. Thank you very much. Let's now, we heard a very interesting perspectives of many of our members today, and it was very kind to have and hear those unique perspectives about many things what we have witnessed in the sessions today. So let's now move further to our third session, which is general evaluation session. Let us now hand it over back to Sharavanan to help us with the evaluations.
Thank you, TMOD. So totally we listened 4 excellent speeches, which were ranging from emotional, technical, and inspiring speeches. To evaluate their thoughts, their thought process, actions, we have 4 excellent evaluators as well. So the first evaluator. So to evaluate Toastmaster Ram Prasad's speech, that is Biryani for Thought, I'd like to call upon a person who has been in Toastmasters since 2016 and has played various club officer roles. This person has a penchant for not being confined to any boundaries. He brings a difference in whatever role he plays, whether it's grammarian or all counter as such. I'm looking forward for his evaluation as well. Please put your hands to welcome Toastmaster Jagannathan.
Thank you, Saravanan. Friends, great stories are made. Great stories happen to those people who have the ability to tell them. So today, one such story was told by Ram Prasad, which had happened to him and his wife. So I'd like to read out the statements, project statements alone. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, apply the feedback to his second speech. That's the purpose of the project. That is specifically tells the evaluator to look into 2 things. One is the structure of the speech. Second is his speaking style. I'll confine myself only to these 2 things. Now, so for the positives, the structure of the speech. Now, anybody who's listened to the speech would know that it had an introduction, body, and conclusion. It's straightforward. He had an introduction, body, and conclusion. Now, the second point that I want to add here is the relatability of the speech. Now, with respect to the structure in itself, he started off by saying biryani and Sunday. And then he went on to say married men would understand these things. So there he establishes a connect with the audience, making it relatable to the audience. And then he goes on to say the normal chores of any married man to go out and get provisions, which is once again hitting the chord with the audience, which means the relatability aspect of the speech. Now, the third positive that I see is in the speech in itself, he acts as a victim as well as that of a witness. So the first part of the speech where he goes out to get the provisions. The second part of the speech, he witnesses his wife go out get provision. So there are 2 parts to the speech where he acts as a victim at the first part and then the witness at the second part. So this characterization of himself being in 2 avatars gave a good touch to deliver the end point of the speech. The fourth positive is the characterization. He had only 2 characters in his speech, one himself and his wife. And he is able to weave the story, the 2 stories of he being the victim and witness to get out a punchline at the end of the speech. So the 4 positives I've mentioned, areas of improvement. Now, primary areas of improvement and secondary areas of improvement. Primary, I want you to concentrate more. The first one, the first conversation that you had with your wife was way too long. Audience would have lost connect. So keep it short. In certain places, there was humor. So humor, you could give more importance and then keep it short. The conversation that you had in the first part of the speech. But the second improvement that I would suggest is when you're speaking, there are certain places where you have long pauses. Now, these pauses are inappropriate. For example, when you use the word accommodate, from where I can observe is that you are trying to fit in difficult words, unfamiliar words into your speech. It may give rise to these long pauses. So these are the 2 primary areas of improvement that I'm suggesting. With respect to secondary, this is an ancillary area of improvement in that we start off speech by saying good afternoon, good evening. Can we have an icebreaker? An icebreaker at the start of your speech in the next attempt. Just try to calm the audiences by starting off with, anybody know the difference between biryani or Sunday? Anything like that, not just good afternoon. Because if you can have an icebreaker and it will add value to your speech. To sum it up, victim, witness, characterization, the introduction, body, conclusion, the relatability of the speech. The conversation was a bit longer and long pauses. So if you could take all of these into consideration in the next speech, will be a good and better speech over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jagannathan. So I would say like the biryani is mixed with right ingredients, and I got some value in that. Never do any multitasking. I myself do, so I have to take that value from there. So the next speech, to evaluate Toastmaster lovely audience speech life lessons, I would like to call upon a person who needs no introduction. I can just show this. Can you see this? Good. So this person is an author, sci-fi enthusiast, and he told us what will happen in 2030 in case if a black hole comes and hits the Earth. I would like to welcome Toastmaster John Jayakumar. Please put your hands to welcome Toastmaster John Jayakumar.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you please raise your hands if I'm audible? All right. Great. Lovely. I'm not able to see you. I'll start anyway. Thank you, General Evaluator. I think you're putting me in a spot. You know, it's a fiction book. Don't think that that was a prediction of any sorts. It was not meant to be. So, lovely. Let's get started with your evaluation. So, a beautiful topic. I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. You know, life has a divine plan. I think a much needed topic in these times, because I don't think any one of us, you know, the entire world anticipated that in a few months' time, the world will be, you know, completely turned upside down, right? That's exactly what has happened. And what I loved about your story is that you added two stories from your own personal life that kind of added a personal touch to it. And both of them, I felt were, you know, very relatable. I'll tell you why. So the first story you talked about your visit to the Taj Mahal, right? Obviously, you know, we run into same situations where we have to catch a flight or a train or a bus. Sometimes we are late, and then, you know, we have this anxiousness on whether we will be able to make it in time or not. So I was able to completely relate. You know, some of those times when I was actually stuck in traffic. I think one time in San Francisco, I was stuck in the traffic and I did miss my flight at that time. That kind of came back in my mind. So certainly very relatable. You also mentioned about, you know, how you were living in Delhi at the time. I think for 4 years you were there, but still you never visited Taj Mahal. I mean, I was able to relate to that as well, because being in Chennai, there are so many places here that I have not visited, and in the south of India. So that was another very relatable item as well. And then you brought in the recent incident of how, you know, all of a sudden they asked you to vacate from your hostel, right? And then you just had 20 hours time. So how you immediately were able to go, but the way you know, turned it and then put it to us is you saw the positive in that, that you had not seen your parents for a couple of months, and then this gave you an opportunity to go and then spend time with them. So a couple of suggestions that I have for you. The first one is your speech, you know, I felt it was a little flat. You could have added a little bit of vocal variety to it. The second suggestion I have is you started with the question. So there, you know, you can give a pause so that people can respond to your question, and then you can move on. You can feel free to add hand gestures to your speech, so it will make it a little more, you know, attractive. The fourth one is you could have added a little bit of visual elements. You mentioned, you know, it was winter, you went to the Taj Mahal. You could have spent a few more words describing how you felt when you visited the Taj Mahal. That would have added, made us enjoy, you know, that as well. Overall, a great. Wishing you all the very best for your future speeches. Over to the GE. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster John Jayakumar. So the value I got from Lovely's speech is accept the decision of life. That's a beautiful word. Thank you, Lovely, for that. So now, like, how many of you have been annoyed by the halo effect on your face when you are giving a presentation? Many, right? So when we are giving it to any presentation, there will be a halo effect that will be coming because there will be a light that comes from the projector as such. The person I'm going to call is an evaluator, but he is playing that evaluator role, but he has got a very good tip for that. When I was giving a presentation in Medley, he gave a couple of tips. So there are some keyboard shortcuts, D for dark, W for white. And if you use that, you will be able to darken your screen as well as whiten your screen, and you will be able to present your presentations seamlessly without any issues as such. This person is a technically savvy person, humorous, and very down to earth. Please put your hands to welcome DTM Guru Prasad to evaluate TM Toastmaster Prashant's speech.
Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
general evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and friends, a very warm good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm able to wear a formal dress after a long period in the name of a Toastmasters meeting. Prashant, coming to your speech and how I felt after listening to your speech, let me start with my heartfelt condolences on your mother's demise, and while appreciating all the care and affection you had showered on her during her lifetime. Well, it was a very emotional an inauguration of her life. You told her the life story of your mother, a very good narrative, including all the appropriate key elements that led to the challenges of her mental state at a later point of time. The story was built with the key milestones, including certain elements that affected her mental being, and slowly how he became hysterical and schizophrenic. And her portrayal as a responsible sister and being a careful, caring and affectionate mother in spite of life throwing various challenges, negative challenges on her that were obstructing her roles or things she was doing. We live with your story. We really felt bad that life should not have thrown such kind of things on her. When it comes to the script and your delivery, and that is the sole purpose of evaluating your speech for this project. Well, you had a very well lit and a clearly built script, and you delivered it with utmost clarity. Though it was very emotional for you, having lived through those situations, you just stood apart and you just delivered the story as you did not emotionally get involved in your language was good. You were able to clearly understand what you were trying to speak, and your pace was also very smooth and steady. There are no issues. However, when it comes to the purpose of your speech, the content was not clear. You delivered the life story of your mother, and you had a title called Schizophrenia. So we were expecting you were going to say something, what is all in your perspective on schizophrenia based on your mother. What is your viewpoint? That was missing. So you had a question in the end about what do you think about schizophrenia, but there were not sufficient material provided to us to evaluate the story as well as the facts of schizophrenia and what is your viewpoint on that. So abruptly, I think your speech ended. Otherwise, your presentation skills, your delivery skills were good, your narrative skills were good. With a good convincing sum up where you justify your title with your opinion would have made it your speech much better. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Guru Prasad. So the value I got from TM Prashant's speech is understanding and empathy heals the heart. That's really good. The next speech is, next evaluation is for evaluating Toastmaster Varshini Suresh's speech, The Miracle of 3D Printing. I would like to call upon a person who has the knack of delivering humorous speeches. The thing I like the most is he does not smile for his jokes, but make the audience laugh. Please put your hands to welcome Toastmaster Vijay Raghavan.
Hello all, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So good afternoon everyone. So to start with Varshini's speech, The Miracles of 3D Printing. So I will start with what I liked in the speech. So Varshini's spoken language was clear, and we were able to learn more about 3D printing a little. And what I liked the most about her speech was the personal connect she brought about why she liked the 3D printing. So rather than telling the miracles of 3D printing, how it can be used and how it will be used, she talked about 3D laser engraving and her visit, the industrial visit she went. So because of that, she got more interested to learn about 3D printing. So that personal connect was really good, and which I liked the most in her speech. And coming on to the improvement areas, so the topic was miracles of 3D printing, but Varshini started with the slide of 3D laser engraving. So 3D laser engraving and 3D printing are totally two different areas. So by placing a 3D laser engraving slide, so audience might be a little confused at that slide. So, and the other thing is, though you talked about different materials used for 3D printing, such as PLA, resins, and nylon. So you could have also touched upon different types of 3D printers. For example, FDM 3D printers, SLA, SLS, to metal 3D printers. So if you had added different types of 3D printers as along with these materials for 3D printing, it would have been more informative for the audience to know more about the different types of 3D printers. And the other suggestion which I would like to give is you could have used a prop in this speech. So though prop is not needed, but particularly for this speech you would have used. How is, for example, during the start of your speech, you could have showed us a 2D image of an object. And towards the end of your speech, you would have showed us the 3D printed version of the same 2D diagram of an object. So by showing this transformation from 2D to 3D live to the audience might be more engaged, and they will also be want to know more, learn about 3D printing, as you have got to learn more about 3D printing, the 3D laser engraving, and the industrial visit event. So these are my suggestions. And to sum up, overall it was a good speech where audience got to know more about 3D printing. Looking forward for more miracles in your upcoming speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Rajan. So now we have heard 4 evaluations on the 4 speeches which we have seen, right? So please vote for the best evaluator whenever you get the link for the best role play research. And then I would like to call upon the teams, the tag team, the timer or counter grammarian, to present their reports. Now I'd like to call upon the timer to present his report.
Hello?
Yeah, Toastmaster Shankarajan.
Can you
We
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So in the prepared speeches, all of them are qualified. In the table topic speakers, Tyagarajan, TM Tyagarajan, TM Sampath Saurirajan, Dr. Krishna Kumar, the TM Ramanujan, TM Sasi Warrior, TM Zakir Hussain, TM Chemmel, TM Santosh, TM Guest Karthik, TM Virdar, TM Sriram, TM Raman, and TM Rajaratnan have qualified. And among the evaluators, all the 4 of them have qualified. Do you want it with the timings now? Hello?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Just a second, we'll go to it down. TM Ram Prasad spoke for 6 minutes, 45 seconds. TM Lovely Aryan spoke for 5 minutes, 23 seconds. TM Prashant spoke for 6 minutes, 40 seconds. TM Varshini spoke for 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Among the table topics, TM Tyagarajan spoke for 1 minute, 59 seconds. TM Sampath Saurirajan spoke for 1 minute, 49 seconds. TM Sudha spoke for 39 seconds. Dr. Krishna Kumar spoke for 1 minute, 16 seconds. TM Ramanujan spoke for 1 minute, 26 seconds. TM Sasi Warrior spoke for 1 minute, 28 seconds. TM Zakir Hussain spoke for 1 minute, 44 seconds. TM Chemmel spoke for 1 minute, 26 seconds. TM Santosh spoke for 1 minute, 29 seconds. Guest Karthik spoke for 1 minute, 44 seconds. TM Viridhar spoke for 1 minute, 16 seconds. TM Sriram spoke for 1 minute, 44 seconds. TM Raman spoke for 1 minute, 16 seconds. TM Rajaratnam spoke for 1 minute, 9 seconds. Among the evaluators, TM Jagannathan spoke for 3 minutes, 43 seconds. TM John Jaykumar spoke for 3 minutes, 9 seconds. TM Guru Prasad spoke for 3 minutes, 14 seconds. And TM Vijayarajan spoke for 2 minutes, 19 seconds. Over to G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rangarajan, for the marathon report. We have to take the calculation for that timing also. So the next one is the R counter. I would like to call upon the R counter Toastmaster Dinesh to provide his reports.
Thank you, G. In the prepared speech session, the first speaker, Toastmaster Ram Prasad, had 2 filler words. Toastmaster Lovely Aryan had 2 repetitive words, we, how, and particularly she used the filler word so many times. Toastmaster Ramprasad, Toastmaster Prashant had one filler word, and Toastmaster Varshini had a clean speech. In the table topic session, Toastmaster Tyagarajan had a clean speech, DTM Sampath Saurirajan clean speech, Toastmaster Sudha had one repetitive word and one filler word, Toastmaster Dr. Krishna Kumar had was a clean speech, Toastmaster Ramanujam had one filler word, Toastmaster Sasi Warrior had one filler word, Toastmaster Zakir Hussain had a clean speech, Toastmaster Arumpurai Chemmel had two filler words, Toastmaster Santosh, he used the repetitive words a lot of too many times, and he had a couple of filler words. Guest Karthik had two filler words. Toastmaster Vidudar had two filler words. Toastmaster Sriram had one filler word, and Toastmaster Raman had one repetitive word and two filler words. Toastmaster Rajaratnam used three filler words. In the evaluation session, Toastmaster Jagan had one filler word. Toastmaster John Jayakumar had two filler words, DTM Guru Prasad sir, clean speech. Toastmaster Vijay Rajan had two filler words. Over to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dinesh. Now I'd like to call upon the grammarian Toastmaster Narasimhan to provide his report.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I would say today's session was a grammarian's delight. Very good usage of words by all the speakers today. I would like to highlight a few of them, starting with the prepared speeches. Toastmaster Ram Prasad, again, he used the word sumptuous, which means delicious. Again, I like the wordplay, hungry and angry, which he used to describe his wife. And again, since he's an IT professional, he used the term productivity hack, which we typically use in our day-to-day conversations. Moving on to Lovely, she started her speech, or there was a quote in her speech: "If you want to make God laugh, you should tell him your plans," which I thought was very good. And she also used words like impromptu, pandemic, and her overall topic, life has a divine plan, in itself was a very good use of the language. Prashant, again, I would like to say laud him for his impeccable speech skills, very good use of the English language. Some of the things that I was able to make note of, a couple of phrases like apple of our eyes, devastated, rude shock, and he also used the term empathy, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Empathy heals the heart, with which he ended his speech, which was very good. Varshini, again, very good, impeccable speech skills. She used a lot of technical jargons. Some of the words which she used, which were very good, which we typically do not use in our day-to-day speeches, would be perplexed, replica, prototype. Again, these are all technical jargons, especially prototype. And now moving on to the table topics, I'll not get into the details of each and every speaker. The ones that that caught my attention were by DTM Tyagarajan. He used the terms wild calamity and hand in glove, which is used to signify the term accomplice, partner in crime. Sampath Saurirajan, DTM Sampath Saurirajan used the term lapped it up, which means made use of it. Again, DTM Krishna Kumar, the phrase which I like, which he used was standing in their own toes. He also used the term sober. And then Sashi Warrior, he made a very good phrase, which is like characters which identify well with you. Zakir Hussain again used a very important quote, again made by one of my favorite heroes, Alexander the Great. I've not carried anything that I have conquered. Toastmaster Chemmel used the term compassion intellectual, and Toastmaster Vidyur used a quote. I mean, it was incidentally a topic which was given to him. The purpose of life is to be happy. And coming to the evaluations, again, a very good set of evaluations. Grammarian's delight once again. Jagan, he started off with a very nice quote. Great stories happen to people who have the ability to tell them, which stood out. And then he also used the term victim and witness, which was very good. Terms like ancillary, avatar added more, I would say, praise to his credibility. John J. Kumar, again, impeccable language skills. He used the term relatable, visual element, grammatically perfect. Again, DTM Guru Prasad, impeccable speech skills. Use the term narrative, negative challenges. Vijay Ranjan used terms like confused, prop, and transformation, which were the things which I was able to capture in my report. Before I leave for the day, I would like to highlight or I would like to give a small grammar tip on the use of at and in, because I always get confused whenever somebody comes and asks me, right, where do you work? Is it, I get confused and I'm not able to tell them whether I work in Cognizant or I work at Cognizant. I did some research and I found out that at is typically used when you are generically referring to a position, location, workplaces, and places of activities. Typical examples would be, I'm sitting at my desk. How many people are working at Microsoft? I was at Lisa's party yesterday. In is used when you're trying to say something specific, be it with respect to position or a physical location. For example, I work in the third floor of the Empire State Building. He is in the principal's room. I know that you are hiding somewhere in this room. With this tip, I conclude my report and I hand it over to the general evaluator. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Narasimhan, for the detailed report. Now, coming to my overall feedback for this entire session, there are a few things I observed. The first thing is Toastmaster Dinesh and DTM Sugandhi deserves applause for taking ad hoc roles at the last moment. The second one is like a lot of preparation has gone behind this meeting, like behind the conduct of the meeting. I see like a separate WhatsApp group has been created for this particular meeting with all the role players in that. So there is a lot of focus and energy that has gone behind that by the subcommittee. That also deserves applause. Thank you for that. And the poster agenda were very neatly done, and it was rightly sent across, as well as like the agenda also was shared with the teams. So that's good. The meeting started on time, and the entire session has been videographed. I can see that REC recording at the top of this thing, right? So what I would ask the request the members as well as the guests is, please do an SSLC. SSLC means subscribe, share, like, comment for Medley Toastmasters Club in YouTube as well as in Facebook, so that you will be getting this at the right time as such. So please do that. The next one is the timer. He also deserves a good round of applause because for the entire thing, he was having an innovative method to notify the role players and speakers. Because last time I figured out like a lot of people went over time, because this time it might not happen also, but he was very proactive in showing the visual graphs, as well as he was able to use the buzzer also. So these are all very innovative thoughts that has come up very nicely, so that we can continue for the next sessions also. That is really good. And speech topics are also very good. So it ranges from life lessons to technology, variety of topics, and speakers and evaluators did a very good job on that. And points of improvement, I have 3 points. The first one is when speaking, the speaker can come close to their mic so that the audience can hear properly. So that is something like, I noticed. So please take note of this. As on an online meeting, it has to be very clearly coming out. Okay. The second one is the role player who is playing any of the roles could use some of the trial sessions. There are 2 trial sessions that were conducted, so that you can use those trial sessions for checking your audio and video, so that at this point of time, this will not create any glitch as such. So please make use of those trial sessions. Then the third point is, the last point is, in the online meeting, like please mute your phones, because sometimes your ringtone might hamper with the timer's buzzer also. So it can lead to some of the speakers stopping the speech in between. So that is something like we have to take care of. If we can take care of all these 3 things, it will be really good for the next meeting. And Toastmasters today, they did a good job in explaining about the Mahabharata, Aswatthama. So it was very entertaining, and it was very captivating as well. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this session. Over to the team, Odi.
Thank you very much, Sharavanan. Let's give a big round of applause for our general evaluation team. Thank you very much. So moving on, we have a voting, but voting link shared in the chat window. Request you all to please vote for the best players of today's meeting. Please take your time and please vote for all of them. Moving on to conclude, like why the dad has started with a quote from Mahabharata, Ashwatthama Hataha iti narova kunjarova. There is a very big meaning to this. On the 14th day of this war called Kurukshetra, someone starts saying like Ashwatthama Hataha. In the battlefield, there were 21,000 soldiers standing in front of them. And there was Krishna himself sitting on the chariot. And there was Arjuna himself, who was the most liked Shishya of Dronacharya. But out of all of these people, he chose only Yudhishthira to ask this question. Yudhishthira, all of these guys are telling that Ashwatthama Hataha. I want to hear it from your words. Is it a true? Why? Because Yudhishthira in his whole life, he sensed that dharma, whatever it happens to him, he lives by the values called dharma. So that is why Dronacharya leaned forward in that majestic war to hear the perspective from Yudhishthira's point of view. So now it leads us to another concept of why did he say it in Narova or Kunjarova? I leave it to your perspective to reflect on why he might have said that and whether it is right or wrong. With that thought, let me hand over the stage back to our presiding officer, Sugandhi. Over to you, Sugandhi. You're on mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kishore, for taking us through a very interesting session. As you rightly pointed out, everything is all rested on perspectives, and during this tough time, it is these perspectives that are keeping us positive and going on. So let us all give it up for our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Krishna Kishore. I'd like to thank all the members and guests for voting. The voting is now completed, and I will move on to announce the results towards the end of the meeting. In this meeting, I would like to specially thank Toastmaster Dinesh, right, as mentioned by RGE, for stepping in to play the role of the counter. And it is also really nice to see our long time no-see Toastmasters like Toastmaster Santosh joining us for today's meeting. We had Toastmaster Zahir, who joined us for a second subsequent meeting. And above all, we have our past president, Toastmaster Tyagarajan sir, who has joined us today. And he will be joining us formally as a Medley Toastmaster member very soon. With that said, today we've also been joined by our special guest, who was none other than the Program Quality Director, DTM Munawara from Sri Lanka. Ma'am, we would like to hear a few words from you.
Thank you, Sugandhi, for inviting me for your meeting today. Well, COVID-19 brought a lot of good results out of some sad results and bad results. So I am here with you for the entire meeting. Of course, in the middle, I had to take it off my headphone because of the heavy thundering and the raining in this area. I really enjoyed the meeting from the beginning till the end. It was excellent. And me too, also a lot of members, the good old friends of mine, the meeting. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And, you know, it is a very good experience, you know, to get into the online meeting from from different countries, Ramanujan from Oman and Toastmaster from UK. So it is very interesting. And I really loved the table topic session. Of course, in the mid, I had to go out. So Sugandhi, you picked up very quietly the old senior members and all the guests into the meeting. It was excellent. So finally, I enjoyed the meeting. Although I was planning to attend your meeting in person so many times, but time didn't permit me. But today, I'm extremely happy to meet you on online meeting. So it was a great opportunity. Thank you, Sugandhi. Back to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. I know the weather is not that well in Sri Lanka, but thank you very much for joining. We also had another Toastmaster Sehani from AATSL Toastmasters Club in Sri Lanka. With that, who had also joined us for today's meeting. With that said, we had so many Toastmasters all the way from Trichy, Nagapattinam, Loyola College, DXC Chennai Toastmasters, and of course, our very own members, and of course, Toastmaster Ram Prasad had brought in his friend guest Karthik. Thank you for all your active participation. Today we had a wonderful meeting. With that said, I would now like to go ahead and declare the results for today's meeting. The best speaker for today is Toastmaster Varshini. The best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Zahir Hussain. Zahir, you should come more regularly, and once we get to meet in person, you should start coming to our club also regularly, Zahir. The best evaluator for today is Toastmaster Jagannathan. The best tag role player today is our grammarian Toastmaster Narasimhan. Thank you, Narasimhan, for such a meticulous and detailed report. The best role player today is the one who led us through a variety of perspectives, Toastmaster Krishna Kishore. We will be presenting the ribbons and certificates to all the best performers of today's meeting once we start meeting in person. With that said, thank you once again for coming together to have a wonderful 554th meeting. Let us all continue to keep healthy and let us all continue to stay safe. With that said, I would like to adjourn meeting number 554. Looking forward to meeting all of you in meeting 555. Thank you very much.
Yes, I have a question, please. I have a question. Please, where are the refreshments and coffee?
Yes, sir. Tyagarajan, sir. Yes, sir.
Refreshments and coffee. Refreshment and
Sir,
coffee.
I will, sir, I had made coffee. I'll drink a second cup. Telling your name, sir.
Please. Is there technology to serve coffee and refreshments? Huh?
I will try and invent a technology but for now, I will ask my mother to give me a second cup of coffee and I will have it telling your name.
Okay.
See you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Krishna Kumar sir. Thank you, Sasi Warrior sir. Thank you, Toastmaster Jamal, Toastmaster Rajaratnam, Raman, DTM Gayatri, DTM Sriram. It was lovely having all of you in our meeting today. And probably if any of our members wants to just stay back and chit chat, we'll keep the window open for some time.
Sugati ma'am, is the link of the recording will be directly available or you will have to...
Hey, why there has been no break, you see? There will be usually an